Hi, good morning also on my behalf. Let's see if I... testimonials, so that's me, Erik Meers. So Erik Meers, Ghent University. So basically I'm living or working, not living, working across the hall with Peter, but also it feels like living there. You're more there than at home sometimes. But well, I'm going to present a little bit about the BioRefine Cluster Europe, which is an initiative that was undertaken some odd 10 years ago. And you might think that we are the odd duck in the room because what has biorefineries to do with agriculture, but I hope that if you bear with me, then I can explain also, of course, what for us, from our side of the bio-based side of things, is an obvious link into modern agriculture. So basically for the presentation I will give a scope of the research domains that are part of the BioRefine cluster, give a little bit insight on a broader concept of collaborative platforms that we are hosting from our group. But then I will zoom in specifically on the BioRefine cluster Europe itself. So, scope of the research. Well, this is the Ellen MacArthur Foundation figure, the butterfly graph that many of you will already know. And this is basically, you have the linear economy, which is going from, well, let's get resources, make products out of it, use them, or sell and use them, and then get rid of the waste. That's the kind of linear thinking in the linear economy. And in the circular economy, we might want to make these butterfly wings. On the right-hand side, we have the technical materials, and on the left-hand side, we have the bio-based side of things. And that's basically where our competences lie. And you can already start to appreciate that on the bio-based industry and on bio-based activities, there are a lot of interactions with agriculture. They are actually quite connected. All things in bio-based originate from organic streams, like from agriculture. And basically, if you process end streams or waste streams or side streams into things like nutrients and fertilizers and fertilizing products and biostimulants, then back again you go into agriculture. So, one of the things that's also processing things like manure processing, biogas installations, all of these what we call par-agricultural activities, but are at the heart of the rural landscape. Well, all of those activities are also part of the bio-based economy. Basically, in the BioRefine Cluster Europe, we have 6 thematic topics that we look into. So we look at water recovery and use, so not only the water itself, but also compounds which might be in things like wastewater. Nutrient recovery is a very big one within the cluster. We have a lot of projects, and I will come to that, what the cluster is. The cluster is about projects joining up. But we have a lot of projects dealing with nutrient cycles and recycling. So again, that is very at the heart of agricultural activities. Also, we have a topic dealing with biomaterials and eco-design. So you also have non-food applications coming out of agriculture. Value chain assessment, and that's let's say the social, economic sciences, sustainability assessments, value chain assessments. In general. Biochemicals are where we have organic things, biomolecules, bioactive compounds that we want to extract and upcycle. And last but not least, we also have renewable bioenergy. So these are 6 general topics that are at the heart of the BioRefine cluster. Well, it's 15 minutes, so I'm going quite fast through it. But this is an overview of the different platforms that we are currently hosting from our group in Ghent, and we are collaborating quite a lot with other institutes across Europe on this, of course, but we are holding, let's say, the central secretariat. We have 3 things. We have an academic network that we are working in. We have platform activities towards industry, and you can consider this loosely. So farming is also corporate activity. So this is industry and farming. And then we also have collaborative platforms on communication, data exchange, and things like that. And that's, of course, what's most relevant for today. So, but all of these three platforms, we have networks dealing with things like Marie Curie's cost actions, bringing scientists together, trying to exchange, visiting, and joint PhDs. So nurturing, let's say, the academic collaboration. Here we are setting up academic industrial and academic farming collaboration. So that's industrial projects, agricultural projects, and also getting farmers and industry on board into projects and collaborations. But let's, like I said, the communication and community interaction towards stakeholders is more relevant for the topic for today. So we will be looking more at what the BioRefine cluster is. So the 6 research domains that are already briefly introduced, they are also common in all of these platforms. So we use the same topical thematic activities throughout all of our activities. So let's say for consistency, and also when we have bulletins, when we have magazines, we consistently return with those 6 topics. And like I said, today will be about the BioRefine. I mentioned BioRefine started some odd 10 years ago, and it was actually based off an other type of European projects, Interreg projects, ERDF funding, European Regional Development Fund. So it was not under Horizon or in its predecessor, the Framework 7 at that time. It was an Interreg project, BioRefine, in which we said, well, let's adopt the good things about, or the good thinking about fossil refineries. 5 minutes, okay, I'll have to hurry up. And adopt this to bio-based sources. So biorefineries is product of energy carriers together with other renewable bio-based resources. And what we saw was we had already Aristoteles, but this is Sisyphus having his labor. It's also from mythology. And well, his uphill battle is about, in this context for projects, well, we have a lot of projects dealing with similar topics, but working separately. So we had a fragmentation of the research landscape. When a project ends, and that's the second bullet point, what happens with the deliverables? And that's where we wanted to set up an e-archive, which is relevant for FarmBook. We also wanted to have more impact, and that's by doing things together we could create that impact. And we also, we already had several quotes today about bringing ideas into action. Well, we also wanted to have innovation to implementation type of thinking. So we have principal targets: enhance interaction and knowledge exchange, relevant for FarmBook; enhance stakeholder outreach, also relevant for FarmBook; stimulate practical business implementation, and also support policy recommendations, having policy briefs, relevant for FarmBook; and identify gaps in knowledge and addressing them through new projects. So also identify the new needs so that you can continue the research agenda. This is about maximizing project impact. If you start with a project, you start from basically zero, or with the network you have around the table. But if you start from existing networks and media, well, it's like if you are a project, you are a single fish in the ocean. If you all band together, well, then this nasty shark swims that way. If it would be a single fish, it would be the other way around, and the shark would chase you. So you have additional convincing power by working together. L'union fait la force is the Belgian creed. We had a number of things we set up. We had a website, BioRefine Bulletin, which is a monthly bulletin, social media challenges, and joint events. And in this website, we also have an e-archiving function. And I think almost on 2 minutes. So we wanted to also set up more powerful stakeholder events, exchange data and results, and also experts themselves in frame of researcher mobility between projects, have a stronger network and accelerated market implementation as a result. So this is a little bit outdated because a lot of new projects have joined in the moment. These are the currently running projects are 40. If we also look at the finished projects since we started, it will reach 100. So quite a lot of projects have joined the cluster over those 10 years. I think I might have left out that slide, but it's very relevant to know for everyone in projects. This, let's say, business model, it's driving on open access and free of charge, because what we expect from projects to put into it is just a commitment to share knowledge and come together in joint events and things like that. So it's open access and free of charge. Relevant slide, which I took out. This one, you might want to go by refine.eu. You will find the 6 topics. Well, the 3 are cut off, but the 6 topics that I mentioned before. There is this archiving function, the e-library, where we have a depository for project deliverables, which are searchable and which we are looking forward on how to interconnect with FarmBook. So the bulletin is a monthly bulletin. I will skip through it. We do have social media which have a good follower audience, so that you can also want to tap into those. We do have the upcoming events already in May, also in Brussels, on the European Sustainable Nutrient Initiative, and that's also linking to a further development of the nutrient recycling community. I will not dive into that here. I just will bridge to that topic so that you can approach us if interested. And a lot of European projects dealing with nutrients are part of this initiative and those events. We also have the broader context of biorefineries and European agriculture. This was an edition in 2022, but we do have second edition coming up in September of this year. So keep tuned for that. We do support quite a lot of different conference brands with presence and practical support, Manure Resource being one, RRB being one, and also the ESPC, the phosphorus linked to the ESPP association. And then there's the last slide, so that we are also kicking into gear on community building. So we do have a lot of separate initiatives on nutrient recycling. We have webinars, we have summer schools, we have conferences, and so on and so on. And we want to bring them together to a more cohesive story. So that is basically it. I think I touched a little bit here and there where the data interlinkages with FarmBook could be relevant. But I will leave it at that. Thank you very much.